Welcome to the Bat Lessons Book Club. I'm Brian.
And I'm Alex.
And today we're going over Absolute Batman issue number 21.
That's right. Written by Nick Dragotta and Scott Snyder. Pencils by Dragotta. Colors by Frank Martin. And yet again, letters by
Tom
Napolitano. So I don't know if we've seen the end of Clayton Cowles or if it's they're just rotating out for a while, but I'm going to have to keep practicing that name.
That's interesting because you said that Clayton Cowles is just like the dude who does all of it all the time. So
I mean, I shouldn't say everything, but
sure,
unironically, like 60 to 80% of books on the rack every week. Like Clayton Cowles is like the letterer. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and he must be very consistent too. Like it's kind of interesting to think about how I haven't really thought about that. Comic letters always look like exactly the same.
Yeah, presumably they've got software that helps them do it now. Like certainly it's all fonts. Like I don't think they're actually drawing text anymore. But like even so, you know you have to decide where they're going to go and what the shape should be and what the color should be, and you know there's all kinds of styling. Anyway, digression on lettering. Any spoiler-free thoughts before we jump on in?
Not really. There's a lot to spoil. I don't know if I can do spoiler free.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot happens, but we don't sit with any of it really. It's a lot of beats. I think we're trying to set up a lot of threads here.
Yeah.
So we pick up exactly where we left off, and Batman is facing off against the Robins, of which there are 5. Mm-hmm. We speculated, actually 2 issues ago at number 19, that this was Dick and Jason and Steph and Duke and Damian, and that was based solely off of the art because one of the Robins was really short and he kind of looked angry. Yeah. We got a comment actually from Dub Mobile. He said, "Loving these breakdowns. I don't think we've seen Damian yet. I think that is actually an image of Tim."
Interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't go back to the art on issue number 19 to because I know they had numbers. Right? They were 1 through 5 or whatever. And in fact, we see it again in this issue. Like some of them have it's on their foreheads. It looks almost Power Ranger style.
Yeah.
I'll point it out when we get
Power
there.
Ranger.
It's kind of, it's a little stupid, but I couldn't tell in the art this time. And I didn't go back, but it kind of makes sense, right? Like there are certain invariants, like things that make the character who they are. And it's not just their physical appearance, right? So like their sort of general height or their demeanor or their race or gender, which all of these Robins have. But there is, one important invariant about Damian in all of his depictions, which is that he is the son of Bruce. And so it's a fair point that like, it's unlikely that they're going to reveal suddenly that he's had a child. Maybe they would. So it stands to reason that maybe Damian doesn't exist in this universe, or at least not yet, or at least we haven't seen him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that makes a lot of sense.
And Tim is often depicted with a kind of a bow staff, which the Green Robin has in this art here. So that is, something in the column of it potentially being Tim.
Well, shout out to the commenter. That was nice.
Yeah, Dub Mobile. And yeah, this actually is like fully half the book is just he's facing off against them. Mm-hmm. And at first, Harley and Alfred are trying to talk him out of it. And he's not having any of it, right? He suits up instead. That's this full page splash as he like turns his cape into like a flail, which is kind of interesting. It's very 90s. He's got the bulging veins. Kids like chains. Yeah. Spawn. He's
got that like, I don't know, that creepy grin that we keep seeing him do.
It is a little Joker-esque, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, the veins, I don't know if that's just like playing for over the top ridiculous or if they're trying to like signal something to us, like he's got some venom going on or something.
Yeah, I mean, they do in the issue talk about how maybe he's not thinking with his whole brain here, and he's just being kind of angry and wrathful.
And yeah, it's kind of just some action. He's coming at them. They're coming at him. They fling him into the side of a building, and they think, oh, he's going to need medical attention after, which is kind of interesting. Like, Dick is an EMT in this universe, and so he seems particularly concerned. In fact, he has like a little cross on the front, like he's got like a gigantic first aid kit. It's like kind of comical.
Yeah, and I mean, in the images before, you can see that like Batman's the smallest of all of them.
Yeah,
and they're saying like these are really bad odds, and Batman's like, no, these odds are bad for you guys. And he goes into it and hits one of them and immediately gets punched flying. And to any human, they would be like dead.
Right.
And that's what they say. They're like, I probably broke all of his bones.
Right.
And then he just keeps on punching. He's chugging.
Comes out fighting, and the guy in the chair for them is Deathstroke. And he's like, he must be talking to someone on comms. They realize he's talking to someone on comms, and they just conveniently have these like, I guess, EMP cannons. Jason has them. In his mech, and he shoots them to the sky. So now Harley and Alfred can't talk to him anymore.
But not like he was listening to them anyway.
No, it doesn't really matter. And so we changed to sort of the diary / inner monologue of Alfred. He's sort of narrating this. He's talking about how he's not fighting to win, he's fighting to fight. Like he's got something to prove or whatever.
Yeah.
Seen guys do it in war.
Yeah. I mean, the exposition I think is kind of interesting, where he's just like analyzing Bruce's moves.
Yeah.
And be like, I've seen this type of stuff before, and it's never good.
Yeah.
And then we get this really interesting beat where Batman, I don't know if he's trying to trick them into doing this or what, but they destroy a whole building. And this reminds me of like these classic conversations that people have about superheroes.
Yeah.
And they're like, was Superman a good guy? Because he really knocked down a whole lot of buildings that people probably lived in, you know? And this is like that first, well, it's not the first. They've knocked over buildings before, but this is a big moment, I felt like, when I was reading it.
Yeah, they're lampshading it, right? It's interesting because it's the role reversal, right? Like we're always supposed to say, like, is the collateral damage worth it for Superman or Batman or whatever? Right. Are they making things better, or are they in fact making things worse? But it's not Batman, it's the Robins, right? Because Jason is shooting his gun, like machine gun, choom 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 choom, into the side of this building, and it comes down, and immediately, Dick is unhappy that this has happened. Right? Yeah. He's like, what if there are people in that building? I have to help. And Deathstroke's like, get back in your mech. What the hell are you doing? Right. And so, like, yes, you're not reading too much into it, because the characters in the story are grappling with, like, are they causing more harm than good? Is this what they signed up for? Dick is not happy about what's happening. Right. And I think they're intentionally sort of drawing the contrast, the mirror image, is like, who's acting like the hero here? Is it Batman, or is it the Robins? And it's like a little bit of both. Like, who are we rooting for?
Well, and I think it's an interesting change to what Batman's usually fighting is these guys believe they're the good guys. And so they're having this like this conscience reaction to the fight, whereas normally he's fighting the bad guys and they don't care.
Yeah, and like not just in the good guys in that they have some sort of like moral North Star that is correct, but like good guys in that they think they are like of the law, right? Right. Not only are they the good guys, but they're on the side of on the side of justice or the powers that be, right? Which could also be perceived as like interesting social commentary in the current moment. Yeah. Which I don't think is on accident. And then there's this Scott Snyder being Scott Snyder. Like, we've been skating past the fact that Harley is the guy in the chair. Like, he's the oracle of this universe, or she's the oracle of this universe, without really explaining how or why for many issues now. And she's quipping with the best of them. And now, like, we have like a multi-page digression where she's explaining facts about bats that I don't even know if they're true. It's so forced. This is so Scott Snyder. I don't have a lot of patience for it, but she's got these drones, and like somehow that's a parallel with real bats. Just like the baseball
it's like
bat is
a swarm of, are there bombs?
No, they're just drones.
There's drones.
Maybe they
Okay.
have. Maybe it is depicting that there's something strapped to it. Like, is that supposed to be dynamite? But like, then there's not really explosions. Or maybe they're kamikazing. Are they shooting? It's not clear.
Yeah, it's not very clear. This is a part where I got a little confused on if they're blowing things up or if they're shooting, and
The
what kind
important
of
thing is
damage
that
doing
they're
and stuff.
coming to the aid of Batman because he's in over his
Yes.
head, right? Like they are effing him up, and Alfred and Harley have come and rescued him and carry him away on a drone. Which that doesn't necessarily bother me, but like the monologue
Oh yeah,
is a little too
the-
clever for me.
the leading exposition of why, trying to add additional depth instead of just like Batman has a swarm of bats that come and help him every now and then.
Yeah, which could be cool. It's instead it's like when bats leave their pack, the pack recognizes them always. I'm 13 and this is deep. So we've fully spent 10 issues of like 22 here on this fight, and that beat's just done. And we're gonna spend the rest of the issue kind of jumping between beats here. We get a couple pages of flashback. Do you remember the context that we've left Bruce in?
Yes,
in the
I
pre-Batman
do.
times?
So Bruce, he did the stuff to win the fight with Waylon, and the money's Falcone's upset, sent him to prison, and let him out, and said, "You owe us a debt until the money's paid back, and you're going to be our heavy.
Yeah.
You're going to go around and be the enforcer." And so this is starting out with him having been that enforcer for a little bit, at
Right.
least, and these dudes at the table are kind of bragging about how good he is at it.
Yeah, it's not clear if he's actually been violent, but he's definitely intimidating people. Like he's brandishing this bat, which was another Scott Snyder. Like, isn't this so deep? He's Batman and he has a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And there's this little beat where he's like intimidating someone by saying that the bat is solid oak, and then who shows up but Gordon in his F-150, which I thought was kind of funny. And he's
I thought that was
like,
funny too.
"It's not oak, it's maple."
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if that's true. If they make baseball bats out of maple or not, but this is some helpful context to the dynamic between Bruce and Gordon, which we've been speculating about a little bit. Like there was the moment when they were on the bench together at the park, and he's talking to him, and so some of this like paternal instinct or sort of like role modeling seems less out of pocket and makes more sense. Like you and I literally had a conversation like, why are they talking this way? Like it felt really revealing. And it's like, actually they've got a lot of history there. It's not just that, Gordon sort of rescued him from the zoo, but also they've given the exposition that, Gordon was friends with Tom and Martha. But now, after Tom dies, Gordon is trying to sort of look out for Bruce as he's falling sort of in with the wrong crowd, right? Like he's getting into the fold of this gang, and he's trying to tell him that's a bad idea. Then Bruce is like, "Listen, I'm only doing this because I need to pay off my debt." Gordon's like, "I heard that your friends, Harvey and Penguin and Riddler, whose names I'm drawing a blank on, Oswald and Eddie, they took out loans and they did jobs and they actually paid the money back." And Bruce says, "Well, yeah, but now I'm trying to earn the money to pay them back, right? Like I don't want them going to debt for me, right?" He feels that like this fight fixing thing is his fault, which like to some degree maybe it is. And Gordon's like, "Listen, I understand that you think you're doing the right thing because you're paying off this debt. And it's temporary, and you're not gonna like fall in with these guys permanently, but like they're a bad influence on you. Like is the long and short of it.
Yeah.
You're gonna listen to things they say, you're gonna do things they ask you to do, and like it's gonna change you." And Bruce is not listening, as he is wont to do in this series.
I think that there's some strategy here that's pretty interesting because if we go all the way back to issue number 1, we're introduced to Bruce as having worked all these different jobs, which has allowed him to know all these different layers of how the city works and stuff.
Considered,
And so he says this thing where he's like, "Okay, they don't have a hold over me, but this is my decision." And makes me think, oh, he is infiltrating to learn about how the crime works.
Yeah, that's an angle I hadn't considered. Like this is the equivalent to the Henry Ducard or whatever, or the the Batman Begins equivalent is like he's in the Andes, right, and
Yeah.
is learning from Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, I hadn't considered that. Makes sense. The examples that they'd given us previously is like he was a plumber, or he was like an architect, or he was like it was all stuff that was like blue collar in the city. But I guess this is sort of like the ultimate like not glamorous, but the job of circumstance or whatever. He's working for the mob. And yeah, it ends with Bruce kind of like calling Gordon a pig and yelling at him. But before he does it, he says like, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry about what I have to do right now."
Yeah.
Kind of a cool moment of humanity. Mm-hmm. Hard cut to the funeral.
Yeah. We get a very heartfelt speech by Barbara, Jim's daughter, and she's talking about how he is just a really good person, and he was what the city needed, and it's at the end saying some beautiful things and saying, hopefully we all learn from him and we'll reach for each other more often. Mm-hmm. And that's the speech, and it ends, and you can see that the Friends Gallery,
they're all there,
are all there.
But Bruce is there too, but they're not sitting together.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Bullock shares his condolences briefly. And then we have a whole page interaction where the Robins show up.
Mm-hmm.
Dick is trying to be sort of a nice guy and says like, "Hey, we understand. We've seen the damage that the Batman's done firsthand, right? Like we can relate." And Jason's like, "And we're gonna friggin' kill him."
Yeah. Street justice.
Yeah. And Barbara's like, "Fuck off."
I saw you knock down a building. You don't know what you're doing.
Basically, yeah. Like, Batman might have his problems, but I suspect Gordon would be more in line with him than he would be with you. And he's like, "Listen, we're just enforcing the law." She's like, "I don't know what the law is anymore," Which
is a very interesting line after Dick has had his like crisis of conscience for a few moments, and for her to say, I actually think that my dad would be with Batman, not with you. Mm-hmm. I find that to be a stinging comment that could be eroding Dick's, morale for the Robins.
Yeah. Definitely, they're not all on the same page, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. And then we get a couple of pages of the Friends Gallery sort of grappling. We have Eddie and Harvey and Oz kind of all in one place, which is they're upset, right? At Bruce still. And they're talking about how they've changed. They're playing the matches game, which I think is a nice callback. I don't know if you remember. This was...
Oh, I remember now. Yeah, I'd forgotten.
Yeah, this was the tribute to the game they used to play with Matches Malone. And
yeah,
I think it was the last person to light the matchbook or the first person to light matchbook. Something. There was some sort of game to it.
Yeah.
They never finish, but they're doing it. And then Marcus was here. Is that matches? They're going to the place where they commemorate Match's death, I think. Is the gist.
Wow, I didn't catch that either.
Yeah. It's a very nice callback. We don't usually get that sort of internal logical consistency very often in comic books.
Yeah. Well, it also shows that they have some heart still, even though they're talking about how they're different and they're monsters and stuff.
They care about each other for sure. Mm-hmm. And it's a conversation about losing themselves. It's an introspection that you wouldn't expect from someone who has truly lost themselves. Penguin's talking about, he was at the club and some people kind of turned against him. He's Cosmo, Pink, Mike, and Raj. I don't know if we're supposed to know who those are, but they tried to kill him and he killed them back, apparently. He almost didn't make it out alive. And Harvey's telling this story about how he's tracking down all these people that he locked away that are now walking free. He thinks on account of Batman.
Yeah.
And in this instance, he doesn't kill them. In the monologue, it's really interesting. The dialogue, he says, "Then I would tell myself, this isn't you, Harvey." Right? So like we're supposed to think he's gone up to the precipice of doing something really terrible and he's chosen not to do it. But in the panels before, he does flip a coin. And so I love the ambiguity here. Did the coin tell him to do something and he didn't listen? Or did the coin make the choice not to do it? Are we seeing him here upset at the coin or at himself?
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting moral ambiguity, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, Oswald literally says it like this is the perfect storm moment. He's putting the he's lampshading it hard. They're not leaving anything up to imagination here. He says, you Harvey the crooks all call you Two-Face. Eddie's some Riddler freak. And Way to them, you're Croc. We're monsters, right? So like he's talking about, I'm not Oswald anymore. I'm the Penguin.
Right.
And the only one of the gallery who's sort of not on the same page is like, no, man, you don't believe that. We're the same people we've always been,
Mm-hmm. And this was a really interesting reveal because we've been going back and forth on like, how is the pendant working? Is it healing him or whatever? And so he's saying like, no, we're getting better. We've got each other. And Penguin is like, and he just pulls the pendant away from him a little bit, and you see Way starts to morph back into Crocodile.
Right, which is interesting. Like clearly the pendant, like being in contact with his skin, is the only thing keeping him in terms of his physical appearance. But there's an interesting beat here where he has changed back into Croc, but he has his resolve. He hasn't lost his mind.
Right.
He isn't. He continues. He says, no, you're still Ozzy. You hear me? And you're still Eddie, and you're still Harvey, and we're still us. And how we keep it that way is by helping each other, and that includes Bruce, which is really cool to see him in that moment. And it makes sense, right? That like Bruce and Waylon in this series are obviously the closest, and Bruce is like obviously stuck his neck out the most for Waylon, and now Waylon's the one that wants to return the favor, and he's sort of calling the Friends Gallery to action. Whether that'll pan out or not, I don't know.
So when they say and that includes Bruce, it intros Bruce standing out, which I don't know. To me, that would freak me out. It makes me go, is he going to kill himself? I mean, obviously he's not, because this is Batman and has no fear fights or whatever.
Sure, but like it's definitely a contemplative, sanguine. He's not happy in this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's out there thinking.
Yeah.
And this guy comes forward and is like, hey, Bruce, I want you to meet some investors. And then he kind of like pushes them away, like to say, let's move on. Yeah. These engineers are always in their head, which kind of confirms that he's out there just kind of thinking, right?
Right.
But one of these investors walks out on the beam with Bruce, and it's Jack Grimm. Mm-hmm. This is when they finally meet face to face.
First time, yeah.
And Bruce immediately is like, I know who you are, and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And Grimm, very strong, apparently, just kind of catches the punch and is like, no, not right now.
I just love the rage face as well. Bruce is not happy about what's happening.
Yeah, very like Dragon Ball Z.
This is there's you know what? There's a lot of manga influence in these couple pages for sure. 100% like this like Hulk mode punching angry face is Akira Toriyama. This is Goku. But on the next page, Grimm sort of jokers out, and this is. I'm sure there's some sort of like classical Japanese whatever, but this is where I know this is 100% like this looks exactly like Death Note. I don't know if you ever read that one.
Oh no,
but like the gist is that there's these demons or whatever that live on another plane. I think they're from hell or something. I'm butchering it, but they're like ghost demons. They're Japanese, lore mythology or whatever. But in Death Note, one of them is banished to Earth for some reason, and he looks exactly freaking like this. He's like the devil on the protagonist's shoulder. I don't know. I can edit art in, but I'm
looking it up right now. It's
Ryuk.
Ryuk. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it to me.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And this part's pretty interesting because Grimm obviously came out to say something.
So I think he came out to scare the shit out of Bruce.
Yeah, but he says you were supposed to be a side project, which is acknowledging the like kind of conspiracy stuff that's been popping up.
Yeah.
You were supposed to be a footnote, nothing interesting, but now I love what you're becoming.
Mm-mm.
And you need to know that you don't get to end Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I get to end Batman.
Yeah, he kind of has this moment where he like knocks Bruce off the ledge. This
I think
panel that
scares him off the ledge.
Yeah, he says
Yeah.
boo, literally boo.
Yeah.
And then he's laughing as Bruce is like gonna fall to his death. And then he catches him.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just saying like I get to choose when this Batman thing ends. I started you, I'm ending you, but like showing him that he's in control. It's like a peacocking moment for sure. He's puffing out his chest and saying, you know, you don't get to get out of this. Because I think that's definitely for a few issues now. Like Bruce has been super unhappy. He's got some despair, right? Like he's not thinking straight. He's not making good choices. He's, people have died, right? He feels like things are his fault. He feels like his life is a lie, right? Like this thing happened to him. He didn't choose it. And Joker's like, that's right, bitch.
And there's this interesting, I think though the language they use is revealing. Like it gives you some idea in their intention. And so right here, Grimm is saying, you don't get to dispatch Batman. I do. And he says, he's mine. He doesn't say you're mine. He says he's mine.
Yeah.
As like Batman is a psyche that he can peel out of him.
It's not you. You're not in control. Your identity isn't yours. Yeah. A pretty cool sort of psychological moment or whatever.
Yeah.
And as he's doing this monologue, we get the Severance style sign, transmutation and plasticity. I love the department names inside the arc.
Yeah.
Something's coming out of the primordial here. It's obviously Clayface.
Obviously Clayface, yeah.
What's it turning into except Batman? So presumably that's what's going to happen in an upcoming issue or arc is we're going to experience absolute Clayface, which I'm pumped for. It's one of my favorite characters, and seems like he's going to be deployed against Batman somehow, either to like ruin his reputation or his image, or confuse people, somehow steal the likeness, which is like another way of showing possession over the identity, which is kind of cool that the art and the implication is mirroring the message that the character is conveying.
Yes, and the mirror continues. That's like now that we've gone through the story, we can draw the lines that I think are interesting. So we've got like the Robins that are, the corrupt justice, you could say. And you've got Dick who's having second thoughts about how that works. Yeah. So it's like you could think of it as like the good considering going bad, maybe, because they haven't figured out justice right. And then you've got the Friends Gallery who are the, I guess, good becoming bad, trying to decide whether to be good. Like it's like I see them as like facing each other, dealing and grappling with like the same kind of stuff. And it's certainly very interesting as like a yin yang, balance concept of like in my mind, whichever way one goes, the other's going to do the opposite. And
it's certainly the thematic tension. It's the will they, won't they, and it's like who will be redeemed, who will give in to their worst impulses. Who's going to be good, who's going to be evil, and like Bruce among them, right? And so it's the moral question that we are grappling with as the reader for each group. Yeah, for the Robins, for the Friends Gallery, for Batman. The only truly malevolent force is Grimm, and everyone else is sort of morally gray, and it's unclear where the chips are going to fall. And even to a person, like I think they want us thinking about it like, are the groups going to stay together? Are they going to split apart? Right? It's a cool idea that I don't know that I have read in a comic before. That is the central tension.
Yes, these characters have a lot of complex depth. Like I think we saw that really clearly on display with what Harvey was saying in this issue of just grappling with himself on what he should do and what he's going to be. And you can see that he's like, I want justice, but do I want real justice or street justice? Because he says it would be easier just to kill him.
Right.
But that's not you, Harvey. And just like teetering on the edge of back and forth. And there's just so many layers. And I love that everyone is so gray that you don't know what's going to happen next.